last week, and I wasn't streaming the Open Cup myself. So I believe this was a finals from last week, and Clem won that 3-2. The games which he won were very convincing, apparently like, very one-sided, and apparently the games he lost were obviously the closer ones, but yeah, apparently Neeb just died a couple times. So let's hope we get some of the better games in this best of 3 in the... Ooh, I think this is quarterfinals, actually. Round of 8. Winner of this goes to the semis on the same side of the bracket as Raynor stands. So, honestly, I think I'm going to stay on this side of the bracket either way. I kind of want to cast Raynor Clem if it happens. So, well, not going to lie, plain and simple. That's kind of what I want to see. So, that's going to be what I go for, most likely. And, yeah, whether Roddy's in it or not, I think I'm just going to commit and do this side because I kind of feel like casting the kiddos, right? Even if they're not really kiddos anymore. Clem's top right, and Neeb is bottom left of this best of 3 game number 1. As we get this started out, and we begin our adventures into the world of 2,000 atmospheres. Clem Engineering Bay blocks to start the game, something which is really not that crazy, not that weird. I mean, Engineering Bay block is very much so something which is Clem loves to do. It gives him control of the game early, right? Like, it lets him be the one that kind of decides the pacing a little bit and, you know, make things happen on his own accord and stuff like that. You know, to me, it's just very much so what Clem wants in a game. You know, his TVZ is like that as well, right? When we praise his TVZ for being the best, what was he doing in the matchup? He was taking control. He was making the decisions his own. He was making everything about him and not about his opponent. And that's kind of what the Engineering Bay block does for TvP as well. It makes the game a bit more about you and a little bit less about what your opponent wanted to do, which is obviously, like I said, it's exactly what Clem likes to play. In this case, Neeb just instantly builds the Nexus on the 3rd base location. That does open you up to harassment, especially when Clem goes factory before he expands. Later expansion, but we'll have some earlier harassment options. And obviously, it's a much more difficult base to defend, this one, and then the drop potential into the main base from that low ground. That's going to be a very dangerous 1-2 defense that you're going to have to try and make as the reactor finishes. A couple Marines on the way out, a tech lab building on the factory, all of that coming through. As we also have a Stargate building from Neeb in the main base, and the Adept of Neeb will start to move onto the map. Go, go, little Adept, shading onto the map. Do. I'll find a journey over there, so having some fun. Man's gonna get an Adept kill, which is really nice. Not nice to lose your Adept early. It's nice to have some map control, not nice to lose the unit that gives you it. As now Clem will have a couple more Marines pressing forward. This has all been just Marine production off the barracks, and with that initial Adept going down, looks like we're gonna even go across the map. Marines and a Cyclone together to put some pressure on, and against the Stargate opening, which is what Neeb's going for, this is obviously pretty powerful because you've got the Cyclone to help you with a lock-on onto the Oracle. And that's obviously going to put the Stargate unit, the main tech unit, initially in some immediate trouble. Now, this is interesting because, I mean, this pylon's completely undefended, so that could just be a pick-off. We're actually going to go over here and find an Adept, and yeah, it's not near the battery initially. It gets back there now, and now the Oracle might be able to do something. We cancel the lock-on of the Cyclone, though. That means he can actually just auto-attack with the Cyclone and get onto the Oracle, which was necessary there. Otherwise, he was going to be in trouble. We kill one Adept. I think Neeb would like to get away with not having to pop the super battery, if at all possible. That's going to cost him another Adept here. Now he's going to start losing probes, so maybe now we have to, but do we have the energy for it? He doesn't have the energy for the super battery. Oh, no. Now you're going to lose the battery, and Neeb might actually just... He's not going to die. You know, the Oracle's going to pop. We are going to clean this up with the probes pulling forward, but he's going to take a lot of damage, and, well, there's a second freaking Cyclone. Uh-oh. No. He is going to die. Oh, God. Not like that. Not when the second Cyclone showed up. That was not the moment to dive in with the Oracle and the probes backing away, and... Oh dear, okay, well that's not what we wanted for game number 1, plain and simple. Okay, bottom left-hand side, up 1-0 with the Marine Cyclone attack versus the Oracles, just getting across, getting the damage done, getting in there. Nicely handled. It's Clem taking the 1-0 lead of this best of 3. Fighting the red Protoss on the top right-hand side of the map, this is Neeb, who just needs a better startup, let's be plain and simple. I mean, I think the issue is, again, he spent the energy on something that wasn't the super battery. I mean, you need the super battery there to hold. Because I'm pretty sure he had the energy on the Nexus that was being attacked, and then it wasn't there suddenly. I was like, oh, maybe he has it in the main, and then he hadn't popped it. I went and checked. I was like, nope. Just no super battery available at all, which is obviously just, well, just sad, right? It's not really how you want things to go in that regard, so not ideal. Factory coming up in the main base as we get this started. There's going to be seeing a little bunker coming up. Neeb once again building that third base location. This is kind of sneaky from Clem. Neeb will not see this bunker going up, so Clem's going to be able to have, and actually this isn't a Reaper either, it's going to be Marines rallying across the map. Just a little bit of pressure on this location, which is going to be pretty funky, so let's see what the hell happens here. Yeah, I mean, Neeb still doesn't know until the Nexus is done. By then, the Marine's going to be in that bunker and firing away. And like I say, okay, he's not going to send more Marines. It's still going to be the one, but it's just going to be that little bit of concern that Neeb now has to pay attention to, right? He's like, oh, I have to deal with a Marine that's already here and dealing damage, and probably should have been attacking the probes instead of the battery. Yeah, he's got a bunker to fall back. I mean, it's not immediately terrifying, right? It's like, it's one Marine. But like, it's just annoying. And right now, the annoyance might be all that counts, because then you're going to be annoying, you're going to draw attention over there, then Hellions are going to pop. I imagine these Hellions are going to try and run into the main base while all of the attention is pulled into this third location. And then maybe something from, will come up from there. So I guess we will see as a couple of Hellions moving up to the top side of the map. Probe moving down towards the third location as mentioned. Looks like he's going to wait for 4 Hellions. There's nothing to really defend. I mean, 1 Adept on the ramp to block. I don't love it. Obviously, there's no SCV here any longer to deal with this bunker taking damage as the Marine just continues to fight and battery energy is slowly drained. We're just going to dive the Hellions on the third location. Looks like we are. There's a few probes here you can get, and it removes the risk of diving into the main. Here comes the Oracle to defend. 4 workers down, super battery. And that means that if you're not one-shotting the probes, you're not killing any probes. Okay, only 4 workers killed, but it only lost you 1 Hellion, so you still have these other 3 that could maybe come back around and do some damage. You've also forced the Oracle to pop its Pulsar Beam, so it is now out of energy as well. It's also not in a pretty place. As the Hellions move up towards the front, and a Phoenix is going to pop out, it's going to move down to the third base as well. Another Oracle, going to turn back around and move into the middle of the map. The Hellions still on the top side. Extra probes in production. We are going to drop the Robo Facility just to the left of this third base as well. It's just putting that down once again. The Oracle's still moving up to the top. And just going to be seeing our reactor building on the factory with the starport. Also in production right here. That's going to be finished up in just a few moments' time. So again, that starport completed as the Oracle goes across down to the bottom left side. And a couple Phoenix coming along as well. And ready to go diving into this main base. The first Phoenix dies really quickly though, so you get 3 SCVs, but you lose a Phoenix already. Are we going to keep building Phoenix? Yeah, of course we are. I mean, why wouldn't you be? If you build a couple, you're going to build a bunch, right? And I mean, that's just painful, because obviously the Phoenix are something which are meant to get into good numbers. They're meant to be something that can defend against drops. They're meant to be something that can do so much for you throughout the course of a game. And now, I mean, now you just already feels like you're just in a lot more trouble than you want to be in. Not really ideal as the Phoenix going to get another SCV, but what about the Marines going across the map with Stim very soon? What the hell are we going to do about that? Fresh Mule gets picked off. You need a good amount of gateway units here, and the Immortal as well is pretty much essential in this scenario, because if you don't have that Immortal, you're pretty much going to be in trouble there too, so good to see that as Medevac's taking a little shot of damage. Gotta be careful. Does back it up as the Marines start to move through the middle of the map, heading to the top right-hand side. Hellions going to dive in toward the main base. Well, obviously, lifting 1 with the Phoenix is very essential because of the battery. That's pretty much going to save a lot more probes going down here than what would have gone down otherwise, but it's taking the attention away in Clem. I think he's going to have an attack into the natural. He doesn't need to hit the 3rd where there's a battery. He can come in here, shut down the pylon, and maybe make a fight of it. I actually don't know if he needs to be afraid of 2 Immortals if they're not going to be near the battery or anything, right? Yeah, obviously it's a risky moment, and I guess you look at it, there's no combat shield, there's no +1. This army gets better over time, so why take the risk right then and there? He's just going to play it a little bit more safely. Of course, by the time the next attack's ready, I think there should be a Colossus up, and that's going to make life much easier for Neeb. He's going to be able to sit with that splash damage in the army, which should go a monumental distance in making a change in this little upcoming fight, if Clem still commits into the fight. Little Cyclone lock on. The Phoenix around the right side. They're going to go diving forward, looking for medevacs now. A few probes going down and gain harassment from a couple mines in the natural. So Clem taking the attention over here and then hitting elsewhere. Something that Clem is obviously very good at, a tactic which he's practiced a lot recently. So I see Clem pulling away out down the bottom. Phoenix up around the top. Uh-oh, what am I gonna go kaboom? Boom! It's just that Phoenix there initially. Just gonna come back around the top side. And just gonna be heading over. Portal's back at the top. Just gonna be seeing the +1 air weapons coming through. Just gonna be having our medevac, couple Marines working their way around the left. Couple extra pylons building in the back. Neeb just staying ahead of any supply blocks here. Game will settle down. I mean, you're playing against Phoenix Colossus. There's not a lot of aggression you can really bring to the table when you're playing against Phoenix Colossus. Like, there's a point at which you just have to stop, you know? There's a point at which it's just not good to fight into laser beams and Phoenix, especially because one of the things you can't really do when you're fighting against laser beams and Phoenix is you can't really retreat, because the Phoenix are just gonna go chase you down, you know? Every single time, pretty much. The Phoenix is just going to go hunt you down, chase you down. You can't just lift into medevacs and escape away and, no, it's just going to be fine and dandy. No, it's not going to be fine and dandy. You're going to have a bad time. So yeah, Clem won't attack. Neeb gets to take his 4th base, and that's more or less what this style is great for. Just getting you to that sort of stage. And as we go into the fleet peak, it looks like Neeb just wants to very quickly, maybe even... Does he go Phoenix range here initially? I think he might actually just start carriers. Like, he might just say Glitter and Ashes, big map. I feel like with Disruptors coming online, I can just start to make carriers and really get away with just going straight towards the Sky Toss, which is one of the more difficult styles for the Terrans to deal with once the Protoss is set up onto it. And that is obviously, as you can see right now, kind of where we're starting to head to. Carriers still coming out, the Anion Pulse Crystals, that Phoenix range coming up, +2 air weapons. Front of boosting on the side with an X-Core. There's that Colossi and Disruptors rally between the bases. As you can get rid of a lone Marine out on the far right-hand side. Just going to pick that off as well. As a couple of assimilators do indeed go down. And this Nexus finishes up. And another battery going to be coming into play as well. Two Marines from Clem are going to go pressing on forward, one up the left-hand side, one off across the right. An attempt to knock down this set of rocks, and a bit of damage being done initially, nothing too crazy just yet. As again, extra carriers coming through, +2 air weapons is on the way in. Our Stargate is building up over here as well. Like I say, Clem's just not super eager to go attack, and he's going to build up into Vikings, he's going to build up into his Ghosts, he's going to get all of that continuing to establish. Just again, a lot of setup from the boy at the moment to get that underway. We do have on the left-hand side, Tripper Phoenix going to go flying in, looking for some harassing damage. I mean, that's always nice if you can grab a little bit of that. And yeah, okay, wouldn't mind went off, try and buffer. We actually, with the Phoenix out of position, can we take a fight over here? I think almost becomes the question. Vikings, so we're going to get a Colossus right away. Now the carrier's taking some damage. Interceptor's firing through. We got rid of one carrier. We're looking for the other. 2 carriers going down. I mean, that's amazing to start. The Phoenix are meant to be here to buffer for that. I'm not sure why the Ghost didn't drop some EMPs on the Phoenix there. Get rid of their energy and chase some of the lifting potential down. Just for the future, right? If you can, I mean, you just felt like you had the chance to do that and just didn't take it when you maybe could have done. But I was maybe preoccupied with dodging backwards, splitting away. Now, getting rid of a couple of carriers already is really a big deal. I mean, that's a fantastic setup, a fantastic start. That's going to put you in some trouble here as Neeb, because you put so much money into those carriers. To lose a couple immediately just gives us Clem that many more openings from here on out. Vikings, Bio, Ghost settling in the center. Neeb's army just up the ramp and trying to see what it can maybe do. And seems to be not a lot just yet. Extra couple of starports going down on the natural expansion. The Phoenix come in, picking up a little Marine. I'm just going to be dealing with that as we turn back around into the center. And these Vikings are going to start getting rid of a bunch of these Phoenix. And again, Phoenix, are they getting ahead of themselves? Are they clearing up supply ready for the next round of carriers? Other ship is going to go down. Well, yeah, it soaked up a few shots. Not sure if it was worth the 400, but it's very rare you actually see a mothership in TvP. PVT actually can have some good uses and stuff, but in this matchup, when there's scans available, because usually it's really good at just hiding and making it difficult to know where like storms are going to be in like PvZ, because the overseers can't get close enough before the fight happens. Obviously in PVT there's just a scan, but it looks like Neeb wants it because he's going to build the mothership again. Maybe it feels like it is just a way to buffer some shots off of the Vikings and stuff, and he's just going to play around that. Very plausible. Few Marines get caught in the stasis ward on the right side. Bio, Ghost collecting together. Well, DT's trying to sneak around. Well, definitely getting the kind of game that we wanted here in the end. Obviously, we talked about that game number 1 a little bit, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it a lot because it wasn't very long. It wasn't really the game we were looking for when we jumped into Neeb Clem today, but this one really is looking a whole lot better. It's going way, way better indeed. Let's just have this DT. Moving in over here, SCVs are going to come surround, and that's going to be a little snipe from the Ghosts, taking the Dark Templar down, so it's a nice catch as well. He now brings this army back through into the middle of the map, so continue to get set up over here. Continue to make things happen as we do just knock down some rocks. I'm just going to go moving forward. Marines trying to fight. Going to see some interceptors engaging in towards these Vikings and carriers. Taking a lot of damage. This back and forth continues, and just going to be seeing this group of units, this group of Vikings still trying to move on in. The Phoenix are still trying to come on through as well. So a lot of extra turrets going up in the front. As Neeb will back it up to the upper right-hand side. I mean, for Clem, he's building 10 Vikings at a time, and that's actually kind of necessary because he needs to get the Viking count up quickly off the back of these fights to make sure you can deal with another round of carriers or so. So it's actually kind of cool to see all 5 of those starports being up and running now. Zealots charge in, wouldn't mind blows up one Zealot. Right over here, a couple of disruptor shots going down, just going to be seeing... Oracle backs it up. Vikings going to fight and just going to be seeing another ship taking some shots. It's going to go down. Now the carriers are taking a whole bunch of damage as well. Carrier after carrier going to be dropping. There's nothing to stop these Vikings. It's not very often you see the Vikings just living forever. Big Zealot counterattack though, killing a lot of SCVs. I'm going to say, is it time for the Bioforce to get involved again? Maybe. Trying to get those back into play. We get rid of one carry here. The Phoenix still taking damage. It's going to be the end of the Vikings. Neeb's going to win this fight out. And this very drawn out later stage game. I mean, this is looking to be where Neeb really excels. And I mean, it is, in general, the toughest part of the game to play is the Terran. I don't even know if this would have been so bad for Clem if he didn't take so much eco damage during it. It was that Zealot counter around the sides that really got so much done at the end of the day. A couple ghosts move back up to the top. The Zealots come through the bottom side. Just going to have Clem actually going to go kind of counter-attack mode. He's going to be not finding a base up here. So where do we end up? I mean, Neeb's out of position for this army. And Clem's is going to go send it into the natural EMP and try and break through these cannons initially. He's even going to land the Vikings. Okay, we're just going to commit. I mean, no energy on the Nexus for the recall. Neeb just going to fly it on home, and well, at the same time, it's already damage being done with DTs elsewhere. We don't mind to start to deal with that, though. So, I mean, it's actually not going too badly. Liberators move up into the main base. Just going to be seeing these carriers. A couple of them are going to start popping. I mean, Clem's put himself in a dangerous spot here, no? Like, he's kind of stuck. I mean, he can hold the high ground to some extent, but is that not just too many carriers for him to ever really fight? I don't know what his plan turns out to be eventually. And he's doing a very good job of avoiding disruptor shots, and so far trading okay. I'm just worried about what happens eventually. It feels as though you get into a bit of a tougher spot here, and you know, you kind of are cornered. Does this end up trading well enough? Zealots keep on going down. Disruptor shots still flying through. They will connect. I mean, the EMPs have been good to keep units low. Again, 36 SCVs going down. If Clem just wasn't losing workers, he's lost 90 SCVs in the game now, and about 70 to 80 of those have been in the last 3 minutes. He's going to stem forward. He's looking for some disruptor kills, I think. I actually don't know what he's target firing. Looks like he's just fighting interceptors now. His ghosts start to die. Disruptor shot. He tries to split against them. I guess no detection from Neeb, so the ghosts are kind of going unnoticed when they're cloaked, and just going to try and chase the army down. But I just don't think that I don't think that Clem has any rebuild potential. I don't think Clem has any rebuild potential at all because he's just been losing so many workers. Now DTs are backing over here. It's just the damage that's been so tough to deal with. It's just difficult. It's hard to stop the harassment on these bases, especially when he's targeting the orbitals. And DTs are sneaking by and they're just all over the place. You don't have like a cannons or something as a Terran player to kind of hold those units off and to buy time, right? You got to kind of send units to deal with it, but his units were obviously out on the map both times trying to fight armies, and we're now going to send it with the Liberators into this. Is he just going to try and win the game with these libs? This feels like a very like YOLO last chance move. Like, if I can just A-click him down with these Liberators, I'm good, but if not, I'm just dead. GG's, that is going to be 1-1. Map 3, Hardwire. Top right, Team Liquid's Clem. Bottom left, Teamless Neeb. Let's see what happens on Hardwire for game number 3 of the series. Hey, Pizza, thank you so much for the 8-month resub on the Prime as we go into game number 3 here. Yeah, the Libras were kind of funny at the end of the game. I think it was very much the case like, well, maybe if he doesn't have enough anti on the ground, my Libs run in, they kill the carriers, and then maybe I'm still in the game. Obviously, if that doesn't happen, I think he knew he was kind of dead anyway, so it's a little bit of a Hail Mary. I mean, it was close. He actually nearly did kill a bunch of carriers. It just obviously wasn't quite enough at the end. To be fair, that's the kind of game that I think really plays well into Neeb style, and not so well into Clem style. Clem likes to be active and control the game. You can't be in control of the game against someone who's holding out and camping out with the carriers and everything else, right? Got to be a little bit more active into all that, so yeah. kind of cool. Can you replicate it here as Neeb is my question. Clem doesn't try any engineering bay business or anything this time around. Reaper hops up and bops a few probes here and there. Gonna get a couple of kills. As the Adept is going to shade and just going to be chasing the Reaper out down to the low ground. We're just going to turn back around up to the high ground. Hey, Sai0, thank you so much also for the Prime sub for the 7 months. Welcome back. Reaper is hungry for probe kill number 2. Gets it. It's going to pay for it with its life, though. Since the Adept obviously had the shade on top. One Adept across the map here, not doing too much to delay. And that's pretty much a summary of the map right now. As we do go 3 racks after the factory. Oh, Adept gets led into the main. Oh, that's annoying. Well, it's going to slow your production a little bit here, and SCVs will continue to die, so I'm having a pretty nightmarish first few minutes of this game here. I mean, this is not meant to happen at all, and okay, he has walled the Adept in this time, so the Adept will die, but obviously not worth losing a couple of SCVs and building time for that. That was really obviously not meant to happen at all. That was really kind of a negative on what just happened there. Now as a couple of Adepts come over and just try to see what they can do. And get in another SCV and another one being chased. We do lose one Adept as the shade out, though, eventually happens. The first Oracle out. I want to see a second one. It doesn't usually suggest Phoenix play. Oh no. That could have been disastrous. We already saw Neeb lose one game earlier today going for this Oracle. And getting attacked and kind of just dying. That could have been a fast track to a similar situation, a bit of deja vu. But the Oracle lives, and this attack still will happen. Battery's not ready, man. That's really bad. We are going to see the Cyclone die, and it commits into range to stay in range of the Oracle, basically. And this battery's not ever going to get up. The Oracle's try and buy some time. Obviously, by flying in, the Oracle's threaten the Marines, and the Marines think, oh, maybe we have to target the Oracles. Maybe then the battery gets up. It doesn't happen. It's going to be a cleanup from Neeb. It's going to cost him a few units, right? It costs him an Oracle. It costs him a Sentry. The probe probably should have gone down here. Trying to kill a Stalker is always very hopeful, right? Because in theory, a Stalker should always be able to kite away from Marine fire. And that's exactly what happens. So that was maybe a little bit hopeful. Is every time Neeb plays Stargate, it just feels like Clem has a way to try and kill him. Oh, man. That's a decent scanner, keep in vision range. Oh, he gets it with the last shot. That's Cyclone magical a little bit here, as we are now going to be seeing these couple of Stalkers coming through, and they're going to try and get the Cyclone, but it actually gets a lock on and backs out of range to stay safe. Oh, got back to the battery just in time there. Clutch save. The Oracle will go across the map, and maybe now you can't really do too much more. Here is Clem. He's going to get another Stalker, though. Great back and forth battle from him. Oracle's just going to activate and go for workers in the main base. Isn't anything left behind to deal with it. The Cyclones have all been out on the map, obviously, as we've been seeing. As that happens, we do lose one Cyclone, but Clem has Stim, and he's chasing down Stalkers. Oh man, these Stalkers are low. Oh, battery's just there in time, but then he moves back into Marine range. Super Battery pops, Clem's out of there. Will not fight the Super Battery, obviously, but he's also out of Stim as well, so maybe time for Clem to just chill out and not continue these attacks, but it's been kind of non-stop until now. Clem is now going to truly back it up and fall away from this. Clem lost 10 SCVs. If he didn't lose 10 SCVs, he's obviously in a really good spot. Losing 10 SCVs, he's down 20 workers. Fairly late third. Neeb's now starting to build Phoenix, going into the Robo Bay. I Don't know how much I like that. Is it going to be more than one Phoenix? Is this just one Phoenix, like, defensively or something? Maybe, like, hold out a corner, make sure you don't get hit by a drop. Then I maybe don't mind it as much. It just feels so late to try and play Phoenix Colossus because you just had no Phoenix initially, and any Phoenix you build right now does not help you out with this incoming push. You know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes down the line, that's great, but I feel like this push right now is an inevitability. And I am pretty happy to see that this has just been one Phoenix sent out on patrol, because otherwise that was going to be extremely problematic for Neeb. Oh my god, he had a lock onto the Oracle. Doesn't quite get to kill it. Colossus getting closer and closer to finishing. Clem still is down in this game. About, what, 20 workers? It's kind of a serious issue, the amount of workers he's down. High Army moving across, going to take down a bit of production here, or a little bit of defense. You're going to see the Widow Mines connecting. What's he going to do, Clem? Just get probes and run out? I mean, he evens out the worker count. He doesn't lose that much army. I mean, I guess it's kind of the perfect play. Doesn't lose much. Sorts out the worker issue we've been discussing. I guess he can't really complain about that, huh? Oh, no, no, no! Pathing error. I guess he clicked here and his units went to run around this way instead of around this way. And I actually lost him a few units there. That actually was costly, to be fair. So actually that hurts Clem a lot. I wouldn't mind just get burrowed up. It's going to blow up on a Stalker, which I was going to say should blink back, but we've not had blink in this game. Because it's not been a Twilight Council, of course. It's been that Stargate and just then straight to the Robo base since then. You just sort of assume sometimes, right, that blink is up, but yeah, no blinks. That's a dead Stalker to the Widow Mine. Deb's still just hanging out, and yeah, now that blink starts up. Interesting to see blink as well as a priority. Is that just because we have 12 Stalkers? Yeah. Usually when you go in Phoenix, I guess charge is the priority, but we're maybe past that stage of the game anyway. Like I say, he's just got so many Stalkers, he feels like blink is the way to go. Protect the Colossus a bit more with the Phoenix as well. I don't know. It's, like I say, it's kind of an interesting little situation we find ourselves in. This Widow Mine's kind of hurt. Phoenix getting hit. It feels like we're never getting up to a good amount of Phoenix. Like, he started to build Phoenix again, and I'm still not comfortable with it, honestly. Didn't like it initially, and kind of sat one, and then he added some more. And, not a fan, really. Big push from Clem across the map right here, making moves. Trying to get down this bottom side. A Cyclone lock-on comes in. Just going to be seeing the Stalkers, Colossi moving up. Phoenix coming through. A couple of Phoenix lifting onto Medivacs there. And just going to see the Stalkers and the Colossi continuing on forward. Just going to be seeing the Marauder taking some hits. The Cyclone taking damage. Stalkers continue through this at the moment, coming across the map, and the Bioforce is going to turn around again. He's lost a few SCVs, but he's going to hold off the army. And that's definitely been the dangerous part, is we are going to get rid of that Observer. Very scared of Neeb's army before he has charge. I guess you got to respect it, right? It's definitely not super easy to break down. And this one, it's a lot of Stalkers. You know, as the game goes on, usually Stalkers are not the kind of unit you want to continue to have. Stalkers are the kind of unit you want to trade out and replace with other things usually, but yeah, I mean, obviously Neeb's just stuck on a lot of them, so it's hard to do much other than accept that part of your army. Neeb will knock down some rocks and obviously just open up his path around his bases. Make it easier for him to maneuver around if at all needed. EMP's looking forward, a couple of shots go down. Colossi getting hit by those. Vikings come forward. Oh, disrupt a shot. Bam, only lands on one Widow Mine. I'm going to see some DTs slipping in. Well, we know how much they did last time. Planetary defends one side, but the orbital on the other is obviously not going to defend itself, as Clem is busy looking at that, and he's losing Ghost on the front lines. He needs to deal with these DTs, man. I mean, these DTs have been a problem for him from that last game to this one now. Just loses SCVs because the SCVs pulled to fight because there was nothing else really there for a moment, and again, it's just buying Neeb so much time to reset from what could have been a deadly engagement over on this side of the map from Clem if he'd been able to just put full attention toward it. Turn back around this way, a couple shots go off, Disruptor fires forward, doesn't really land just yet. Oh, EMP goes down, Ghost is gonna be killed, a couple more EMPs off on the Stalkers. Disruptor shot still just flying through, the Zealots will continue across to the upper right side of the map. Stalkers continuing in, Bioarmy gonna turn back around, Disruptor gets picked off. Disruptors continue to clip. As you are going to be seeing Zealots running in on the other side into this mineral line. 15 SCVs already dropping. The Zealots go down as well, and just going to be seeing 16 SCVs. It's a pretty serious number right now. Once again, it's these run-bys that are really getting damage done to Clem, and it feels like it's not stopping an SCVs. He's losing a couple other units here, and now Neeb is pushing in over on this side, and Neeb is really making Clem work for this, and I actually think Clem is, obviously at this point, coming out of these couple of skirmishes, really trailing, and that's going to be a difficult bounce back for him. Nice to get rid of whichever DTs he could right there. Anything obviously helps to alleviate the pressure that Neeb's able to apply. I don't know if Clem has enough over here. He does have the Vikings, and that's the scary part, right? If he gets rid of the Colossi, then it's just about disrupted dodging, and that feels much more manageable. Obviously needs the Vikings to be able to get in range of the Colossi properly, and he's going to chase for another one, so another Colossus falling. 30 SCVs now dead on the sidebar. 61 dead in the game. Clem is just not dealing with these attacks well at all. These little attack counters of DTs and Zealots and stuff are just getting way too much value. Causing some really serious trouble. It feels like Neeb's been pushing this right side for an eternity. Clem's going to bring his army around. Might be able to flank a bit from the left and the kind of the top. Gets the first EMP off. The Disruptor count is okay, but Neeb, oh, he's going to have to fire all the Disruptors here. Oh my goodness. I mean, he fires so many at once to try and force Clem to really back away and scare him away from chasing. Because he knows if Clem gets in range there, that Clem is going to be able to do exactly this. But Clem said, no, this is my opportunity. I know it is. He even has that Disruptor pre-target fired. Oh no. That's really bad for Neeb. He does wipe out a base on the top side. Clem very much so knew what was going on there. And he knew, like, this was his moment to just go. And he had to have really good splits. But he believed in his ability to, to split well enough to avoid enough Disruptor shots so he could justify the chase. Now the chase isn't looking as good though. Radha's Zealots really changed things in the front, and Clem's not microing at all. Now finally he's deciding to back it up. Medevacs lift and they leave, and obviously just busy dealing with the DTs, which have once again caused utter chaos across the board over here. 15 more SCVs have fallen. I mean, units were dying to them as well, which we saw on screen. Clem still just trailing by about 30 supply at the moment. Worker count not great. Army count not great. And this little group of units in Neeb still trying to get involved. If at all possible, here, there, or anywhere at the moment. Just trying to find openings. Is this going to be a final fight? If these Zealots start to stream through, it might be. SCVs have to pull to survive this. Yet again, it's okay, it's just an adept this time, but it doesn't matter. This fight's never going to go well. GG's from Clem. Neeb 2-1 and goes to the semis.